really nerdy character that kind of hid in the background. And then you have this kind of
intro really nerdy character, that kind of hid in the background. And then you have this kind of jock. If you give Chip a boundary, he's going to...
If you give Chip a boundary, he's going to break that boundary. If you give him a rule, he's not going to follow it. And if you tell him he can't go past this line, put his toe...
break that boundary. If you give him a rule, he's not going to follow it. And if you tell him he can't go past this line, put his toe over it. Blood has been spilled at the pinnacle of fame. Chip Gaines, the man once celebrated as the king of television, now sends shock waves across the world as horrifying truths come to light. Millions of fans are reeling. Social media is ablaze with accusations, and his family stands in the eye of a storm filled with suspicion and betrayal. What truly lies behind that ever-smiling facade? Chip Gaines, the television icon once worshipped across America. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got 5 kids. We got it. Perfectando +1. Are y'all ready to see your fixer-upper? Bring it on. Okay, here we go. What? Whoa. Has officially been sentenced to life in prison following a sensational trial on June 15, 2025. CNN reported Chip Gaines, former fixer-upper star, was convicted on 14 counts, including large-scale financial fraud, abuse of power, and coercing employees into signing exploitative contracts for over a decade. The verdict was delivered at a Texas courtroom under intense tension, with Chief Judge Rachel Whitmore declaring, "This is a wake-up call for the entertainment industry where power and money have clouded ethical judgment." The estimated damages reached $86 million, encompassing tax fraud, illegal transfers from Magnolia Network, and unpaid debts to more than 40 subcontractors who had worked for Gaines's empire. American media described the moment Chip lowered his head as the sentence was read. While Joanna Gaines, his wife, was absent from the courtroom, the New York Times captured the stunning silence outside the courthouse where hundreds of reporters and fans had gathered. The paper also revealed details from the indictment, outlining illicit payments funneled through the Magnolia Foundation, which had been under IRS investigation since late 2024. Chip Gaines exploited his family image and media credibility to conceal a sprawling profiteering network, wrote the Washington Post in a scathing commentary. The ripple effect hit social media almost instantly on Twitter. The hashtags #BoycottMagnolia and #JusticeForVictims surged to global trending #1 within 4 hours of the verdict. Over 12 million tweets expressed outrage, with one user writing, "So behind that friendly smile was nothing more than a ruthless profiteer." Reddit erupted with a flood of armors from former Magnolia Network employees exposing the hellish backstage where they endured unpaid overtime, Chip's erratic outbursts, and the threats of termination if they spoke to the press. One anonymous producer revealed, "I used to idolize Chip Gaines until I saw him lock employees in a meeting room for 14 hours to force them into signing contracts." Major brand partners swiftly severed ties with Magnolia. Target issued a statement, "We are immediately ending all commercial relationships with Magnolia to uphold ethical standards." Anthropology and Discovery Plus confirmed cancellations of all advertising deals, plunging Magnolia Network into a severe crisis. According to Adweek, Magnolia's advertising revenue dropped 57% in just 1 week, while Discovery Inc. stock fell 14% amid fears of widespread fallout as the Magnolia empire teeters. The Gaines family faces its own internal turmoil. Joanna Gaines broke her silence in an emotional statement to People, saying, "I believed in him until today. I don't know how to explain this to the kids." TMZ, citing a close source, reported that Joanna had left Magnolia Farms with their 5 children immediately after the trial and is now filing for divorce. Their eldest daughter, Ella Gaines, posted on Instagram, "This is a wound that will never heal." The public remains divided over Joanna's response, with some defending her as a victim of deception, while others questioned whether she was aware of Chip's illegal activities throughout Magnolia's meteoric rise. Media analysts warned this may be the largest scandal in HGTV history. Dr. Robert Kleinman of Harvard University commented on CNN, "This is not just a personal downfall. It is a moral shock wave for the entire reality television industry." The Guardian compared the case to HGTV's version of Harvey Weinstein as years of buried secrets finally surfaced. But to truly understand how a man once revered as the embodiment of the American family fell into such disgrace, we must revisit the blood, sweat, and fateful decisions that laid the foundation for the Magnolia Empire. Born in Waco, Texas in 1974, Chip Gaines grew up in a working-class family where his father worked as a mechanic and his mother managed a small shop. Gaines's childhood was marked by long afternoons spent roaming the ranches where he learned to ride horses, build fences, and repair machinery. The Texas Tribune once wrote, "Cowboy culture and the values of hard labor became deeply ingrained in Chip's character, shaping him into a man drawn to risk and unafraid of hardship." Teenage friends recalled how he often joined local fairs, competed in bull riding, and broke his left arm in a horseback fall, an experience Gaines later described as a lesson in resilience. Entering Baylor University in 1998, Gaines chose to major in economics, but became more famous for his daredevil personality, earning him the nickname Crazy Chip among the student body. Tales of him climbing onto dorm rooftops to hang banners or driving a brakeless truck across campus turned into legends that spread throughout the university. During these years, Gaines also began dabbling in home renovation through part-time jobs. He worked on small construction sites where he learned skills like cutting wood, laying tiles, and managing crews. A former colleague recalled to the Waco Herald, "Even as a young man, Chip had the ability to see potential in rundown houses that others overlooked." In 2001, an event occurred that would change the entire trajectory of Gaines's life. He happened to walk into Joanna Stevens' father's tire shop. Although their first date didn't go smoothly, Gaines arrived 90 minutes late because he was busy chasing a chicken that had escaped from the coop. As he later wrote in his book, Capital Gains, the connection between them quickly ignited. Joanna, with her pragmatic personality and passion for interior design, gradually became the perfect counterbalance to Chip's impulsiveness. People magazine once described, they were like two opposing forces drawn to each other, one full of reckless energy, the other meticulous and controlled. 2 years later, in 2003, Chip and Joanna held a small wedding in Waco and immediately dove headfirst into entrepreneurship with Magnolia Realty, borrowing $25,000 from a bank and several friends. They began buying dilapidated houses to renovate and resell. Joanna later shared in Magnolia Journal, "We started from less than zero, living on instant noodles and prayers, but we shared the same vision to cut costs." Gaines personally handled many tasks from demolition to rebuilding while Joanna focused on design and marketing. This period saw its share of failures. One townhouse project partially burned down due to faulty wiring. And another sat unsold for over a year, nearly driving them to bankruptcy. But it was during these grueling years that the farmhouse chic aesthetic began to take shape, a blend of Texas's rustic rural charm and modern elegance. This style later became the hallmark that set Gaines apart when he entered television. A journalist from the Waco Tribune-Herald once wrote, "They weren't just selling houses. They were selling a story about family, hard work, and the American dream from nothing." Chip Gaines and Joanna built an empire that once seemed unshakable. Fixer Upper premiered on HGTV in 2013 and instantly became a cultural phenomenon. After just 2 seasons, the show drew over 75 million viewers worldwide, transforming Chip and Joanna Gaines from an unknown contracting couple into national TV stars. The farmhouse chic style became a trend copied across America. Architectural Digest remarked, "Fixer Upper didn't just renovate homes. It redefined the lifestyle of America's middle class." Chip Gaines, with his witty, humorous, and sometimes clumsy demeanor, was quickly dubbed by Vogue television's charming cowboy, while Joanna became an icon of sophistication, creativity, and discipline. Fixer Upper's success paved the way for Magnolia to grow into a multi-industry empire. In 2016, they launched Magnolia Journal, a lifestyle magazine featuring design, cuisine, and family stories. Within its first year, Magnolia Journal generated $10 million in revenue, becoming one of the top-selling lifestyle publications. That same year, the couple partnered with Target to launch Hearth and Hand with Magnolia, a line of over 100 home and decor products. Forbes reported it earned $50 million in its debut year, a figure that caught the retail industry's attention. The expansion didn't stop there. In 2020, Chip and Joanna partnered with Discovery Incorporated to launch Magnolia Network, fully replacing the former DIY network. This bold move made Magnolia a cornerstone of Discovery Plus, with shows on home renovation, cooking, and lifestyle. Within 2 years, Magnolia Network reached over 12 million subscribers, cementing the Gaineses as HGTV's most successful founders. The Wall Street Journal described Magnolia as a brand not just about homes, but about a way of life. The Magnolia empire kept growing. By early 2024, Magnolia Realty operated in over 90 Texas cities. Magnolia Table became a popular dining destination, and the Magnolia Press coffee chain expanded rapidly, with a brand value estimated at over $750 million. Chip and Joanna were listed by Forbes in the top 50 most influential figures in real estate and media. Alongside their career, the Gaineses' idealized family image was continually polished by the media. On screen, they appeared as a perfect couple, always making time for their 5 children and maintaining a simple ranch life in Waco. Joanna was praised as the heart and Chip the soul of the Magnolia empire. But behind the bright smiles and witty banter on Fixer Upper, cracks began to show. From 2021, posts on Reddit and Twitter started leaking details about a very different Chip Gaines backstage. A notable 2023 AMA from a former Magnolia Network employee claimed Chip was volatile, sometimes throwing things when unhappy with filming progress. Joanna controlled every detail to a suffocating degree. These allegations were never confirmed, but planted seeds of doubt among fans who adored their perfect family image. Later, as former employees spoke out about a high-pressure work environment and unpaid overtime at Magnolia Network, the public began questioning whether the Gaines empire was truly built on the family, honesty, and kindness values they preached. These whispers, initially dismissed, became the spark that ignited the scandals to come. In 2016, Chip and Joanna were sued for $1 million by neighbor Darren Farmer, who accused them of building a fence that blocked access to an alley beside Magnolia Market at the silos. Farmer claimed they violated a shared access agreement, stalling his business. The lawsuit was settled quietly out of court, but marked the start of disputes over the Gaineses' community relations. A year later, John L. Lewis and Richard L. Clark, co-founders of Magnolia Realty, sued Chip, alleging he fraudulently bought their shares for $2,500 each just before Fixer Upper aired nationally without disclosing the HGTV deal. Lewis and Clark called it a betrayal of lifelong friendship. While Chip fired back on Twitter, "I've used the same phone number for 15 years. The same email for 20. Why didn't anyone call or email me?" The lawsuit dragged on until 2023, ending in an undisclosed settlement. Trouble continued in 2018 when the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency fined Chip and Joanna $4,000 for violating lead paint safety regulations in pre-1978 homes they renovated. CNN reported the EPA found 33 Magnolia renovated homes failed to comply with lead paint handling rules, posing serious health risks. Though the couple promptly paid the fine and released a lead paint safety video, the incident tarnished the wholesome family image they built. Ethical controversies also began to surround the Gaineses when BuzzFeed published an investigation about their involvement with Anch Community Church, where Pastor Jimmy Seibert openly opposed same-sex marriage and supported conversion therapy. Questions arose: did the couple share these views? Fixer Upper had never featured a same-sex couple in its 5 seasons. To quell the media storm, HGTV issued a statement affirming its non-discrimination commitment. Chip wrote on his blog, "We care about you because you're human, regardless of race, wealth, orientation, or faith." But the storms didn't stop. Controversy flared again in 2021 when the couple donated $1,000 to the campaign of Shannon Braun, Chip's sister, known for opposing critical race theory. The move divided the public. Some criticized the Gaineses for promoting conservative views, while others defended it as simply supporting family. The crisis peaked in 2025 when Magnolia was exposed by a leaked internal report revealing a toxic work environment at Magnolia Network. Employees described the company as a soul-crushing machine with long hours, intense revenue pressure, and unannounced mass layoffs. A former producer told The Guardian, "Chip Gaines was a genius on camera, but backstage he was oppressive, volatile, and authoritarian." The report led to a class action lawsuit from 12 fixer-upper contractors demanding $3.2 million for underpayment, delayed wages, and hazardous working conditions. Magnolia became the target of social media backlash, with #BoycottMagnolia trending globally. Simultaneously, the IRS launched an investigation into the Magnolia Foundation for suspected money laundering and tax fraud. By late 2024, Chip was forced to pay a $1.1 million fine to settle the case, per CNN. The incident was described as an irreparable crack in the golden Texas family image Chip and Joanna had crafted. Legal and media pressure quickly pushed the Gaines family into a spiral of collapse. In the trailer for the show Back to the Frontier, fans noticed Joanna no longer wore her wedding ring, fueling rumors of separation. TMZ, citing a close source, confirmed they've been sleeping apart since 2024 to reduce stress. By June 2025, People reported Chip was hospitalized for exhaustion after months of facing trials and relentless accusations. The outlet described it as a clear sign of a man crushed by the empire he built. And finally, it all culminated in the life sentence on June 15. As the Magnolia empire crumbled under the weight of scandal and the Gaines family fractured, the question remains, will Chip's legacy be remembered as an inspiring legend or a bitter lesson in power and ambition? The Gaines legacy. Legacy. Fixer Upper, the show that catapulted him into the ranks of HGTV's most influential figures, remains recognized as one of the network's most successful series in history. With more than 75 million views worldwide, Fixer Upper redefined how Americans perceive home renovation. The farmhouse chic style pioneered by Chip and Joanna quickly spread from Waco to every corner of America. Vogue remarked, "No couple in reality television history has ever wielded such influence over an entire generation's design preferences." But that legacy soon became overshadowed by a cloud of legal and ethical scandals. The ideal family image that Chip had carefully built for over a decade collapsed under a string of controversies. Magnolia Network, once hailed as a bold leap to replace DIY Network, now struggles to maintain its audience with a 40% drop in subscriptions in just 1 year. Major partners such as Target, Anthropology, and Discovery Plus withdrew from all collaborations, leaving a severe financial void. According to Forbes, Chip and Joanna's net worth plunged from its peak of $50 million to around $38 million after fines from settlements and lost contracts. An analysis by the Wall Street Journal warned Magnolia is no longer an inspirational brand, but has become an expensive lesson in failed crisis management. The public is deeply divided in their assessment of Chip Gaines. Some see him as a tragedy of fame, a victim of the reality TV industry that devours even the most optimistic personalities. They recall the early years of struggle and praise his ability to turn a small idea into a massive empire. But others do not hesitate to label him the destroyer of the American dream, accusing him of betraying the very values he once stood for. From community responsibility to kindness toward employees, heated debates on Reddit, Twitter, and HGTV forums continue, transforming Chip Gaines into one of the most controversial figures of the decade. Meanwhile, Joanna Gaines, once regarded as an irreplaceable ally and life partner, now projects a contrasting image. People magazine described her as the last keeper of peace, as she single-handedly manages what remains of Magnolia to secure a future for their 5 children. Joanna too faces public scrutiny, with many questioning whether she truly knew nothing about her husband's misconduct during Magnolia's meteoric rise. The legacy of Chip Gaines exists as a double-edged symbol representing both the heights of innovation in television and the rapid downfall that occurs when power is abused. Chip Gaines was once celebrated as the embodiment of the American dream. A man from Waco who climbed to the pinnacle of television, built the iconic Magnolia empire, and inspired millions of families, now ending in a whirlwind of shocking scandals, multi-million-dollar lawsuits, and a life sentence that stunned America. The empire that symbolized creativity and resilience lies in ruins, shrouded in controversy and doubt. With all its brilliance and darkness, Chip Gaines remains a cautionary tale for anyone dreaming of turning family life into a brand. His collapse serves as proof that a meticulously crafted image can be destroyed in mere months when core values are betrayed. This is not just the end of an empire, but a sobering reminder of the dark side of fame and power in the entertainment industry. Stay tuned to this channel to never miss the gripping investigative reports and earth-shattering secrets of the personalities who once dominated every headline. Hit like, share, and subscribe to keep up with the most sensational stories of risen's glory and downfall among the most powerful figures in entertainment.